Welcome to the Bitcoin Sage Show. I'm your host Patrick, and today is December 16th. It's about 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and let's talk about the exciting news in the Bitcoin industry. So I'm going to get started with the news. So today in the news, EU agrees clampdown on Bitcoin platforms to tackle money laundering. So the EU is, as far as I can see over the last week, as negative as can be about Bitcoin. And I think this piece of news kind of says that, listen, we're going to even clamp down on this because we think a lot of money laundering and terrorism financing has happened through Bitcoin and virtual currency platforms. It's interesting how traditional governments are most worried about money laundering and terrorism as somehow a funding mechanism for solving these problems. I find that extremely amusing. Anyways, BitPay will process payments on multiple blockchains starting with Bitcoin Cash. That's exciting news for Bitcoin Cash as it continues to gain traction out there. So watch for that. World's first crypto bank, Arisebank, announces BitShares partnership and acquisition of FDIC Insured bank. That's very big news. I come from the traditional banking world, and an FDIC insured bank is a very big deal and very difficult to get and achieve. It's usually only achieved through buying or partnering directly with an FDIC insured bank. So I haven't read this in total detail, but this is interesting and very exciting news. Coinbase wants Wall Street to resolve its Bitcoin trust issues. Good thing is that Bitcoin, sorry guys, luckily Coinbase has enough money now and is big enough that they can start lobbying both the government and institutions to change their views a little bit. Bitcoin Proxies outperforming the digital currency itself this week. That's true. A lot of secondary altcoins are doing extremely well. I think there's an incredible pent-up urge for altcoins to explode to the upside because they've just been decimated. But again, every time I mention this, and I hope people are listening, if Bitcoin is going up, altcoins will go down. You will get the random one that goes against that. But the reality is, the more Bitcoin goes up, every time it goes up to a new level, it's zapping out all the air from that secondary market. So make sure you're adjusting your purchases and your sales based on that. Bitcoin offers the cannabis industry an alternative to banks. That's been going on for a long time. Cannabis industry hasn't had any real proper banking alternatives for the last 5-6 years as it's gone more legitimate. I think they're actually going to be smart enough to try to find a way to bank their own, create a proper currency that gets backed by something, and then actually use that for facilitating transactions. They're close, but because nobody really wants to jump to that next step of a bank itself, but I think they should. There's enough money in that industry. I'm surprised they haven't pulled together to try to do something. Suspected North Korean cyber group seeks to woo Bitcoin job seekers. So again, the industry is just getting bigger and more profitable, and there's more people looking now to build their teams. Bitfinex is experiencing withdrawal difficulties due to some DOS attacks and some issues. I also heard some rumors about some legal issues that are hitting some exchanges, or regulatory legal issues that they're having. So watch out for that and make sure you're never on an exchange that's having problems. So follow the exchange. Also check the hashtags on Twitter. Make sure you also set up a Google alert for the exchanges you're on so that you see any news or posts in regards to those exchanges. It's really important. This was an interesting tweet that I came across yesterday. And it's basically the head of Coinbase talking about Bitcash and how it's effectively Bitcoin. And that was very, very, very interesting point. And I think that that might lead to a little bit of a nod and wink. No one's really sure what the next Coinbase coin will be that they're adding, but a lot of people are speculating that it's going to be Ripple. A lot of people are speculating now that it's going to be Bitcoin Cash. Whatever it is, it's going to be big and it's going to run quickly. So expect a lot of people to pile in as soon as there is an announcement. So keep track of that. The current currency market capitalization. So we've got the first 5 is Bitcoin number 1, Ethereum number 2, Bitcoin Cash number 3, number 4 is Ripple, number 5 is Litecoin, and then 6 is IOTA, 7 is Dash, 8 is Cardano, 9 is Neem, 10 is Bitcoin Gold. So let's go for the breakdown today. We'll go over some charts. I did a tweet yesterday talking about Bitcoin as it was approaching the resistance line and the all-time high line. As we thought, it broke through those lines wholeheartedly, and it's continuing upward trajectory. I was waiting for this rejection. I was just before we started this podcast, we reached a high of 18,990, just about kissing 19,000. So some exciting news there. Now we're going to probably see a little bit of a pullback back down here a little bit just to consolidate before we kind of return up. This is all in preparation for the CME futures that are launching on Sunday. I think a lot of big firms are buying up small positions and buying up some Bitcoin. So if they're looking to short that Bitcoin, giving them a little bit of a protection, but us getting to almost 19,000 at this point, look for a little bit of a pullback. This might give the altcoins a chance to breathe, but I basically sold out on any BitMEX positions I had long for altcoins as we broke through 18,000, because this run of $1,000 is just going to zap the market. And when I woke up this morning, that's exactly what had happened to all those altcoins. Okay, let's jump to Ethereum. Ethereum continuing downward. This is an important level here. If it breaks down here, we're going to see a continued breakdown below 0.367. Let's jump to Bitcoin Cash. Yesterday I posted this as it ran up and bounced off of this resistance line and did exactly as expected, kissed the resistance of 0.107. That being said, it has now come all the way back down and is bouncing and actually breaking through some of these lines here. So watch out. Again, as soon as Bitcoin starts making some progress, we're going to see all of these altcoins fall apart, as we're seeing right here. Let's see, IOTA is another one. It was running and looking to push up against resistance again, and as soon as Bitcoin started up, it bounced off of this resistance at 22,818 and has fallen apart. Let's watch this line here and see if it holds on the resistance side. KMD, Komodo, has just been on fire as well, but as soon as Bitcoin started rising, it just got destroyed again and is now back below this resistance. I think there's a lot of potential on this one, so watch this one carefully and see what happens. Litecoin, I'm actually really surprised. Litecoin is doing a lot of sideways consolidation, which is extremely positive for the stock, that it hasn't been falling apart, or sorry, the coin, it hasn't been falling apart. That does bode well for it to make another run up for 0.214. Neo also consolidating a little bit sideways. Still some good opportunities here, but all the momentum is zapped out of it. Let's see what else is on our list. Ripple continuing a little bit of sideways movement here, bouncing off this resistance line. Let's see if it holds. Right now it doesn't look like things are going to hold. It looks like things are going to fall apart, but it really depends if we see that pullback in BTC. So watch that carefully and make sure that you have that on your radar. If BTC does start to pull back today, which would be expected after this last $1,000 run, but you know, like mentioned, if everyone is looking at the CME future launch, there may be some pretty steady purchasing over today and tomorrow. So watch the numbers, watch the size of the lots that are coming in the orders, but everything looks pretty positive. Here's the resistance lines. Let's see what happens today with the news, and let's trade some coins and make some more money on Bitcoin. Anyways, have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon.